Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. So today I'm going to be talking about something. It's FGO related and I'll be talking to whether, if you are new to the gacha game like that, the whole gacha game scene, and if you want to play a gacha game and you've been hearing about Fate Grand Order, should you be starting Fate Grand Order in 2023? And that'll be the topic of discussion here, me playing this game from the beginning. There's a few things that I've always wanted to share, and I thought, like, why not make a video here, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people, now that gacha games are getting popular, Fate Grand Order is popping out in their recommendations and they're like, oh, should I start this, that kind of thing. And they want like a little bit of insight on this whole thing. So I'm just going to talk about a few things. Now here's the thing, at the beginning I'm going to mention this, is that these are all just, I guess you could say, advice, and this is just my perspective on the whole thing. So if you want to go for it, I think you should go for it. That's just it. That is like the best advice I can give you. If you just want to go for it and you really want to try it out, I think without listening to anyone, just listen to your heart. I'm just here to give a little bit of insight as to what goes on in the game, what happens, and like whether how it is, so that you can kind of think and kind of compare, like, oh, is this what I want? If you want it, then you can go for it. I'm just here to give advice. So if you want to play it, I think you should do so. That's the first thing, and I'm just here to kind of give you a little bit of an insight on the whole thing. I'm not telling you to play the game or not to play the game. That is not my intention. All right, so Fate Grand Order, it is a game that has been going on for 8 years in JP and 6 years for NA. And a lot has passed, a lot of time has passed. A lot of players have been playing the game from the beginning, and me being one of them in NA, that is which has like the one that has gone for 6 years, and a lot of people are newcomers. So one question obviously a lot of people thinks is, should I start it now? Like, it has such a time has passed, like, and I also kind of think about it. One of this, like, a gacha game that a lot of people plays for a long time, I always think, like, should I be starting it now? It's like 3 years it has been ongoing, and you're kind of like hesitant. So I'm going to mention a few things here. First of all, there's a few prerequisite, I guess you could say, things that you should think about before starting it or thinking about starting it. First of all, number one, are you a fan of the franchise? Do you like Type Moon stuff? Do you like Fate stuff? Like, have you, are you a big fan of it? If you are, and if you haven't played Fate Grand Order, I think you should probably, if you want to. I don't think you're going to have a bad time if you are a fan of the franchise in itself. Even if even if the whole battle, the way the battles go, the way the characters is, even though if those are not up to your expectations, if you are a fan of the franchise, I think you won't have a bad time. That's one thing I'm pretty sure about. And if you are not afraid of fan of the Fate franchise, you just play gacha games and you just want to try a new gacha game, here's the thing. I'm going to mention this. Fate Grand Order's way of battle and stuff is a bit different from the modern gacha games that we see. For example, I'm just going to bring up the three of the most modern gacha games that I myself played for a long time, which is Honkai Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin Impact. Now, I feel like a lot of people, like Genshin and Star Rail being so popular, a lot of people, when they start playing a gacha game, they kind of compare everything to those two. Now, if you do that to Fate, I don't think it's a good way to, it won't be a good impression, because Fate's battle style is pretty, I guess you could say, linear. Not that linear. If you think about it, there's a lot of strategy and stuff going on, but it's very simple as to just like some small characters will come up on your screen, and there'll be some skills, there'll be some extra skills, and you just do it turn based. It's like a card game kind of. You match, pick 3 cards and they're going to attack. You can use the skills to increase those attack, and there'll be a special attack called the Noble Phantasm that you can use. And as you play the game more and more, you'll understand there's a lot of strategy going on. For example, a lot of support characters who are extremely broken, you need them sometimes to kind of boost up your certain attack so that you can just deal that damage and completely destroy. And difficulty wise, I'll have to say Fate Grand Order is up there. There are extremely easy battles, but at the same time there are some crazy, just drive you crazy type of battles. So the difficulty is pretty, I guess you could say, varied. You can one shot characters, at the same time the characters can one shot as you in certain situations. So that is the whole thing. So if you like, or if you are okay in playing this type of a game where the battle is like this, then you can try it. But I feel like the modern gacha games that have been coming out, them being the way they are, Fate Grand Order, the way the battles are made, a lot of people have a lot of complaints about it. And that's why I feel like one of the biggest thing that probably people, when they start Fate Grand Order and they see the way the battle plays out and they don't like it, they drop it. I feel like a lot of situations that happens. So that's why I said, like, if you're a big fan, Fate fan, or a Type Moon franchise fan, you should go for it. I don't think it's going to matter whether how the battle is and how it goes. You're just going to love the story in itself and you're going to stick around. That is the first prerequisite, thing that I said. And yeah, so if you're not a fan of the franchise and you don't really know Fate that much, then you should think about how you should search a few of the gameplay videos in Fate in FGO, and I myself have a few gameplay videos if you want to check them out. Yeah, you should check them and you should see how the game plays out. If you're okay with that, you should go for it again, because even if you're not a fan of the franchise, I can guarantee you this, that if you stick around, you've become a fan of the franchise. I can guarantee you that. It's going to take a while because the first few sections are kind of it takes a while to kind of build up, but then it gets better and better and better. So even if you're not a fan of the Fate franchise, don't worry. If you start the game and if you play the story, it is going to make you a fan. So that is not a problem. The problem here is, are you comfortable with the battle or not? If you are a complete newcomer to the Fate franchise, if the battle is about to it's something that the battle style is something that you don't like, then you might actually drop it. And that's what I am saying. So check out a few of the gameplay videos, see if you're okay with that style of gameplay, and just go for it, because it doesn't matter if you're a Fate fan or not. Once you start going in, you cannot come out. That's the truth. And yeah, and there you go. So that is the other prerequisite. If you're not a fan of Fate fan, just look at the gameplay and see. Now, so what about the F2P-ness of the game? Another thing that a lot of people think about when starting a gacha game. Now, I would like to say this is a mixed bag. First of all, the pity system is kind of not that good. You need a lot of resources in itself to trigger pity, because pity was never a thing in FGO. They just recently introduced it because all the other games are doing it, and kind of like that. And it's kind of ridiculous that people have to spend extreme amount of money to get one character and there's no pity. So they introduced it, but it's still at a quite large, the threshold. So forget about the pity. The pity, just think about if you're an F2P player, just think that the pity doesn't exist. Just treat it like that, because it's difficult. Not only that, the character rates are kind of low. Only go for characters who are in the rate ups. Otherwise, don't try to go. It's kind of, I guess, useless most of the time, unless until you're crazy lucky. And there's a lot of things going on with the gacha as well. If you want, I can make a video on the gacha section as well, how you should do it, with what you should do if you're a newcomer to Fate. But in that department, I guess you cannot call it F2P friendly. However, in the other department, as to how the lower rarity characters are, it is extremely F2P friendly. You can use 1-star characters to kill literal gods in the game. That is the crazy. There's like 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 5-star. That is the whole rarity system, and 5-star being the highest, and all, and they're divided into different classes. So using 1-star character, you can do some crazy stuff in this game. So in that department, it is extremely F2P friendly. All these 1-star characters, you'll be getting them loads. From friend point summon, you can just summon multiple copies of them and increase their NP level, which is the power of the NP. If you get multiple copies, you can increase the NP level. So in that department, it is extremely F2P friendly. You won't have trouble going past the story battles, because you're going to the game itself kind of helps you out sometimes. And you can also take your friends support. You have some friends, some good friends who you can use their characters and they can help you out. Not only that, like I said, the 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star characters, there's a few of them which are even better than the 5 stars. So I don't think in that department, I feel like it's quite F2B friendly. It's very F2B friendly. Also, the game gives you welfare servants in different events that you play, and the welfare servants, there are quite a few welfare servants which are so good. It's just they're just like the game changes. So it won't be a problem in that department. But in department of spending your premium currency and getting the characters, I would I'd like to call it, it's not that F2B friendly. It is luck based basically. So that's why I said it's a mixed bag. You won't have trouble with the like with there's some certain games where you need a 5 star character to go through the story and surpass it. That won't be a problem. In that department, it's very F2B friendly. So yeah, think about it, and like if you are comfortable with this type of thing, you should go for it again, because like I said, um, FGO, the main thing that people stays for is the story. So all these things are like extra additions. So if you're new to the franchise, I think you should take like account of all these extra additions and then go for it, because I'm 100% sure the game is going to make a fan of you. You're going to become a fan as if you keep reading the story. But if you know the franchise and you love the franchise, then I don't think any of the other stuff will be a problem. You can just go for it, and you stay for the story in itself, because that's what happened for me. Like I was extremely unlucky in the beginning. I was like, what the hell, I'm not getting anything when I started the game. But I kept playing because I loved the story. I really enjoyed the story. And now I'm like I'm okay. I've playing this game for so long, I've gotten a lot of characters, and I've gotten a lot of I'm pretty used to the whole thing. So there you go. So this is another thing you should keep in mind. This is the F2B friendliness of the game. And yeah, so now the biggest thing is, like I said, I talked about it before, now I'm going to talk about it in detail, is the story. The story is like the main thing that a lot of gacha games fail to like execute. And I'll be happy to say this, that Fate Grand Order is completely different from that. It has a crazy good story, and like I said, if you're not a fan, it is going to make you a fan. That is how good it is. And if you have previous knowledge to the Fate franchise in itself, it's going to make you even a bigger fan, because oh god, this the story is just phenomenal. I've like I don't know, like the story, that the main story, even the event stories as well, are just so good. And currently it's like in such a position, the game, that the FGO is in such a position, it's one of the best positions, I feel like, like story wise. You've gotten so many good things in the story. So yeah, the story is going to like hook you in. Even if you are not getting enough good characters and you're frustrated, you're like, god damn it, I've been playing this game for 5 months, 6 months, I've not gotten a single 5 star character, what the hell. But you're still going to keep playing it because of the story, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the main thing. The story, in the story department, if FGO gets a 10 out of 10. I've like I've not seen any gacha game have this like crazy good story. And yeah, so there you go. I feel like these are the few things that you should keep in mind, like when you start the game. First of all, if you're comfortable with the battle and the way the game plays out, just watch a few videos on YouTube. If you're comfortable with that, then like you should start the game, even if you're not a fan of the Fate franchise and you don't know what the Fate franchise is. And it's going to be a bit difficult at the beginning, a little bit confusing if you have no clue about the Fate franchise. But little by little you'll understand. Like there's a lot of things going on, like a lot of like lore and stuff. So yeah, but it is definitely going to hook you in with the story. And even if you don't have an understanding of the lore, like it's not that you need to know about the Fate franchise to play FGO. You don't need that. Even if you don't understand the lore and the deeper stuff of what's going on, the story in itself is just, it's going to make you understand, and it's easy to follow. It's not that you need to know like what happened in the Grail Wars, what happened in Fate Stay Night, what happened in Fate Zero. How is FGO different from the Fate franchise? What's happening in FGO? You don't need to know none of that. I don't think you need to know that. The sections, the story that you play in itself, they kind of have like a standalone story kind of thing, and the standalone story in itself is phenomenal. like that kind of thing. So it's very easy to pick up for newcomer fans, and yeah, and if you start getting interested in the story and the lore in itself, you yourself will try to find out what's going on, and because that's what happened to me, at least, like I even though I did like know about the Fate franchise and played Fate Stay Night, but when I started FGO, there's a lot of things I never understood about it. But little by little, like I got more interested, and when I understood more, I myself did some research and tried to figure out what's going on because I was interested in it. Like that's what it is. So yeah, like story is the biggest, I guess you could say, selling point of FGO, and then the characters as well. The character designs and the characters are very good. Oh, and that's one thing I should have mentioned. I didn't mention it. The characters and the character design and the different, like each and every character feels important in the game. That's the thing. Each and every character have their charm, and I feel like that's another thing that Fate has been able to do perfectly. Also, okay, another big thing I forgot to mention. If you are like a history, like you love like history and legends and stuff, and like like that kind of thing, I feel like Fate is going to really, like FGO is going to really make you like it even more, because like it brings characters who existed in the real world, or who you have heard legends of, gods, goddesses, like kings, everyone, like like they bring in them with a little twist to them, and you get to know more about them and that kind of things. Like like the amount of characters that I've gotten to know who I never knew anything about just by playing Fate is crazy. Like I never would have known about any of these characters, if I didn't play Fate. So in that way, like I feel like that's another big plus point and a strong point in FGO, that like it brings in characters that you probably know. Like for example, like in your like as a kid, maybe you've heard legends of King Arthur, and like stories of King Arthur and everything. And now you go to Fate and you see there's like King Arthur over here, but with a little twist, and like stuff like that. And characters related to King Arthur are also there. The Knights of the Round Table, like Merlin, all of them are also there, and you get to know more and more about them. And you, from King Arthur, you start getting interested in the other characters who are who are connected with King Arthur, like Morgan, Merlin, Mordred. And you try to find out more about them, even if you didn't know about anything about them. Now you know about them, and you try to find out about them. It's like a circle, it's like a loop, where you know one character, you like one character, you get to know more about them, and you get to know more about the people associated with them who you never knew about. And now you get interested in them, and you start getting to know more about them, and kind of like that. It's a very nice feeling. At least that's what I feel when I play the game. And like this whole servant, like characters like from legends and myths coming and like fighting together with you, is at least for me, it's a point which is very attractive. I really like this style of thing, which is also something that made Fate quite unique. So yeah, I feel like if you want to start Fate in 2023, if you're a big fan of it, go for it. If you don't know anything about the Fate, just check out a few of the videos and see if you're comfortable with the fighting and everything. If you're comfortable with that, if you would like to do more on that and continue playing something like that, then start it. You're going to like the game in itself, and the story is the biggest plus point. And if you know what gacha games are, and if you are a big fan of the Fate franchise, then you should definitely go for it, obviously. Like what are you waiting for? So yeah, I think there you go, that is it. Because like Fate in itself, I feel like with so many videos talking about how crazy the Fate lore is, this and that, people kind of get like intimidated as to like, oh my god, what is this? Like so many things, this and that, and people kind of shy away from it, even if they want to check it out. But I feel like this is one thing that all people forget to mention about Fate, is that it doesn't matter how big the lore is. It is very, I guess, what is it called? Rookie friendly. Even if you know nothing about the franchise in itself, just and you try to start it from wherever the hell you want to. For example, if you start playing the game first before watching the anime, FGO, it wouldn't matter. It is that rookie friendly. There's nothing, even though it has such a big connection to everything, nothing is connected at the same time. That's the thing about Fate. Everything is connected, and at the same time nothing is connected if you are a newcomer. For newcomers, it is extremely friendly. So like I've seen a lot of people talking about like, oh, I want to check out Fate, but oh my god, it's so much, like, so many things are connected. This spin-off, that spin-off, this game, this parallel world, this, that, you know, and they get intimidated. No, don't worry about it. No need to get intimidated. Just like, just close your eyes and pick one and start it from there. I feel like you'll be comfortable with everything. That is how Fate is. At least that's what I think. Even if you blindfold yourself and just like, like pick like a certain, like, like Fate franchise, and you're like, all right, let me start from here, I think it'll be fine. You won't have any problem. That is how, that is how newcomer friendly Fate is. Even though it's quite, the whole lore is, a lot of things are going on. It isn't really that, oh, you need to know this to enjoy this, and that isn't a thing. So yeah, like, this is one, I feel like, a thing, like, a lot of people has a misconception about Fate, is that, yeah, it's very newcomer friendly. Just go for, one. Like, there's a lot of videos I've seen in the internet talking about, oh, which one you should do, like, watch first. Is it Fate Zero? Is it Fate Stay Night? Is it this? Is it that? Just start from wherever the hell you like to. And like, that's what I think, at least. Like, it won't be a problem. There's a lot of people like arguing about, oh, Fate Zero should be watched first before Fate Stay Night, and there's a few people like, oh no, Fate Stay Night should be watched first before Fate Zero. Do whatever you want to. That's the thing about Fate. Just do whatever you want to. The story in itself will give you like the basic information for everything, and you're going to, like it. And when you have a basic understanding of the whole situation, then you'll understand which thing to start first and which not. So it's very newcomer friendly, so you shouldn't have a problem. Even if you haven't watched the anime or played the visual novel, and you just want to play the game and start with the game, go for it. It's fine. It's okay. There won't be any problem. So there you go. Like, I just want to make a video like this. I just want to talk about it. And now, like I said, obviously, like, this isn't really me trying to tell you like to play the game or not to play the game. It's just me, like, kind of giving a little insight as to what it is, and like, check it out for yourself. That's my suggestion. Again, like I said, search out a few YouTube videos, see how the battle plays out, see if you would like that style of gameplay. And if you are okay with that, then go for it. Like, it's a great game. If you go into it, and if you're able to stick around for, like, for a few events, for a few of the story sections, the game in itself will make sure that you keep playing it. That is the charm of the story in Fate. Like, if you understand, and if you like go for the story and actually read it, it is going to. And oh, also another thing, I forgot to mention this. I know there are a few people who don't really go for the story, they just skip the story, and if you're just here for the characters, it's fine. It's fine. Like, the characters themselves are pretty charming. They're going to keep you in the game. So I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't want to play. Like, in every gacha game, they don't play for the story, just play for the character. I think you're going to have a lovely time. If you're someone like that, you're going to have a lovely time, because the character designs are in Fate, and the characters are just beautiful. Oh boy, like, there's so much variety, and it's just amazing. So yeah, it's okay with that as well. But yeah, I will have to mention that the strong point of Fate is actually the story. So it doesn't matter if you play the story for the story or not. I feel like if you read the story in itself is going to make you kind of attracted to the story in itself. And even if you're someone who doesn't really read for the story, I feel like Fate is that one franchise or that one story, like, like thing that can probably make you change your mind and be like, all right, you know what? Maybe reading the story isn't that bad. That kind of thing. Anyways, that's what I just think. So yeah, just go for it. Even if you haven't played watch the anime, play the novel, just go for you want to just go for the game. Yeah, go for it. Just check out a few things in the internet. If you're comfortable with them, yeah, just start, and you'll have a good time. So there you go. Yeah, that is it. Just wanted to, like, and again, I'm, like, if I, what can I say? Like, the few things that I mentioned here, if I like I myself, like, this is Fate I'm talking about, so there's a few things that I myself don't understand still, because it's so, like, thing, but I feel like I was kind of correct in most of the things. So if you have something extra to add as a Fate veteran yourself, if you're watching this video, you have some extra things to add, let's like, add it in the comment section, and like, so that people can read and get to know more better stuff, a little bit more better. Again, I'm making a video like this for the first time, so I tried my best to kind of summarize everything and I mentioned a few things, but I might have missed out a few things, and I might have missed out on a few things which would have been better if I mentioned. So if you have any of those things as a Fate veteran, yeah, comment down below. So that is it. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching, guys. So this was my video on whether you should start Fate in 2023. And if you're a newcomer, so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And like I said, if you have anything extra to add, including the things that I told, feel free to comment down below. So yeah, that is it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.